down. Let's count down together. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Leadership Unscripted. I'm Dr. Ryan Dale, and tonight I want to begin with a question that I believe is going to make many of us uncomfortable. Not because it's controversial, no, but because it's personal. I want you to think about your workplace. It doesn't matter whether you work in a school, a hospital, a bank, a government department, a church, or a private company. Think about that one person everyone depends on. The person who never complains. The person who always says, I'll do it. You need someone to stay late? They'll do it. Need someone to cover a shift? They'll do it. Need someone to solve another problem? They'll do it. Need someone to train the new employee? And again, they'll do it. Now imagine this. Tomorrow morning, that person walks into the office, places a resignation letter on the desk, and quietly says, I can't believe it. We never saw this coming. That's your impression, but that's your response. But the person says, thank you for everything, but I'm leaving. Remember, the person never says no. They always say, I'll do it. If you need someone to stay late, they're there. Need someone to cover a shift, they're there. Need someone to solve another problem, they're there. But suddenly they walked into your office and places a resignation letter on your desk and quietly says to you, thank you for everything, but I'm leaving. Everyone in the organization says, we can't believe it. We never saw this one coming. But what if the signs were there all along? What if they weren't quietly quitting? What if they were quietly suffering? Tonight, we're asking one difficult question. Are we rewarding loyalty, or are we quietly exploiting it? Our topic for tonight, a difficult question. Are we rewarding loyalty or quietly exploiting it? Now, before we go any further, I want everyone to participate tonight. This isn't one of those shows where you simply listen. This is a conversation. So here's my first question. Have you ever left a job because a leader rather than the work itself? Have you ever left a job because of the leader rather than the work itself? You can type yes or no in the chat. Have you ever left a job because of the leader and not the work itself? You can type yes or you can type no. Thank you, boys and Nanny, for joining. So Royal Tally, thank you for joining Leadership Unscripted tonight. Our first question: have you ever left a job because of a leader rather than the work itself? You're going to type yes or no in the chat. You don't need to explain it, just answer it. Because if your answer is yes, can you describe that yes using one word? I'm going to start. Trust. Why you left that job because of the leader and not necessarily the work. I'm going to start with my word, trust. If I can't trust you, I can't work for you. I can't work with you if there is no trust. So that's one reason why I would leave a job. Not because of the work, but because of the leader. If there's no trusting relationship, I can't stay. What's some of the word that comes to your mind that would cause someone to leave a job? What about respect? What about burnout? What about lack of communication? No employment, treating people less than. I see the comments coming in. So Royal says no employment, no empowerment, sorry. No empowerment. And I'm just going to say growth. Treating people less than. Sanita says undermine. Bad culture, negative culture. Bullying. Stress. You don't feel psychologically safe. Those are things. Intimidation. Thank you, Mandy. Those are things that will cause anyone to leave a job, not because of work. Leaders that gaslight you, so true. Leaders that gaslight you, intimidation, undermine, treating people less than, no empowerment. Those are some quality responses. Those are some quality responses. And we could go on and on as to reasons why we would walk away from a job. Not because of the work, but because of the person leading the organization. So if you look at those words, there is a safe space to share. Oh, this is a safe space to share. Nikki is letting you know that this is a safe space to share. Definitely. Now, if you looked at the responses earlier and the words I've read off earlier about the reason we would walk away from a job, because of the leader and not the work, did you notice something? Nobody wrote the work was too difficult. We were all talking about how the leader made us feel, how you felt, and that's important. Because people don't simply work for organizations. They work within cultures. And culture is created by the leadership. What did I say? People don't simply work for an organization. They work within cultures. And culture is created by leadership. Always remember that. So here's a teaching point for you tonight. Here's one of the greatest mistakes leaders make. One of the greatest mistakes leaders make. If you're just joining, our topic for tonight, are we rewarding loyalty or exploiting it? That is our topic for tonight if you're just joining Leadership Unscripted. Now remember to like the live, share the live if you're just joining. And while you listen, please ensure that you're sharing the live and liking the live. Thank you very much. Now, here's one of the greatest mistakes leaders make. Sanita, culture is created by, definitely your leadership creates the culture of the organization. What leaders accept, what leaders always accept, repeatedly do, that becomes the culture of the organization, whether we like it or not. Whether we like it or not. Whether are we rewarding, exactly, Nikki, are we rewarding loyalty or simply rewarding it? Now, here's one of the greatest mistakes leaders make. We assume loyalty has no limits. We assume loyalty has no limits. Thank you, Kaisha, for sharing the live, and thank you for joining Leadership Unscripted. We assume loyalty has no limits. Someone performs well, so we give them another responsibility. They perform well again, so we give them another responsibility, then another, and another, and eventually their reliability becomes an expectation rather than something we appreciate. Let me go again. Let me go again. One mistake, the greatest mistake leaders make, is assuming that loyalty has no limits. So someone performs well, instead of rewarding and appreciating that person, you give them something else to do. They perform well again, and you give them another responsibility. And they perform well on that responsibility, you add another responsibility. So you keep adding onto their workload. You keep adding onto their workload. And eventually, their reliability becomes an expectation rather than something we appreciate. Somebody said loyalty is not immunity to broke. Exactly. And we do that without realizing it. So we've stopped rewarding loyalty. We've started depending on it. And in depending on it, what you do, you start exploiting people, loyalty. You start exploiting them. And there's a difference. One celebrates people, the other consumes people. So here's a reflection. I want you to think about your own workplace. And Sonny said, loyalty is not immunity to brokenness. Mandy says, reward for a job well done is more hard work. We often hear that. But that is an unhealthy thoughts and reasoning. That's unhealthy. Now, I want you to think about your own workplace. Who's the first person everyone calls when something goes wrong? Who is always asked to cover? Who is always expected to solve problems? Who is always reliable? Now ask yourself, when was the last time someone asked whether that person was okay? So everyone run to them for help. If there's a problem, everyone run to that person. To cover duty, everyone run to that person. To stay back late, everyone run to that person. To cover a shift, everyone run to that person. To stay back late, everyone run to that person. But when was the last time someone actually asked that person if they were okay? And because that person never says no, you exploit their loyalty. You exploit their loyalty to you and the organization. And that will result in broken. That you will broke that person. Because here's what. Reliable people rarely tell you they're struggling. If they are reliable, they're not going to tell you that they're struggling, even when they're struggling. They're not going to tell you. Not because they aren't struggling, but because they're used to carrying everyone else's burden. What did I say? The loyal person, good night, Naya. The loyal person will not tell you that they're struggling. And it's not because they aren't struggling. Sometimes they're dying under the work and the excess pressure. But because they're so used to carrying the workload for everybody, it becomes a part of them. Pablo says, me put my phone on D&D when me leave work so them can't call me again, bro. So you're set to putting up boundaries. So here's a scenario for you. Here's a scenario for you. Imagine you're the principal of a school. Pablo, but sometimes they say the lawyer person, sometimes they don't wait until you get home. They start padding on stuff to you from you're at work. It's Renaya. Oh, Renaya, how are you, Renaya? Thank you for joining, Renaya. Make sure you like the live and share the live. Thank you, Renaya. No. Pablo, remember, sometimes you see, if they realize that you turn off your phone when you get home, they're going to start asking you to cover an extra shift before you leave work. They find you in your workplace because they're strategic, you know, because they know you're loyal. So they'll come to you with a pitiful face and even rub your back sometimes and say, can you cover this shift for me? Can you take on an extra task? Oh, can you look over this for me? And they keep padding work and you're there thinking you're well loved and you're well liked when you are being pressured. You're being worked to pulp. They're working you to pulp. That lawyer person is bound to suffer the consequence of burnout. Exactly, Nikki. They're bound to suffer burnout. Me tell them you have personal engagements. So it seems as if Pablo, it seems as if you have your boundaries and you set your boundaries, which is clear, and which is good. So imagine you are a principal of a school. Mandy says they throw crumbs through compliments. And Pablo is advocating for work-life balance. So let us go through this scenario. Thank you, JD, for liking the live. Now hear this. Imagine you're the principal at a school. 2 teachers work for you. Teacher A, I'm going to talk about teacher A and then I'm going to talk about teacher B. So teacher A arrives early every day and always leaves late. Never refuses a request. Runs after school clubs, mentors new teachers, writes curriculum documents, covers absent colleagues, parents request their class every year. Because children thrive, everyone describes them as amazing. Teacher B, excellent teacher, professional, reliable, leaves work at work, protects family time, rarely volunteers for additional responsibilities, politely says, I can't this time. Both teachers receive exactly the same salary. Now here's my question. Who do you think carries the greater workload? Sanit says, thinking about it now, it could be that some are actually suffering from the need to be... True, Sanit, yes. Some of them want attention, but in seeking that attention and wanting to be liked, they're working themselves to pulp. Pablo says, teacher A don't want to go home because they have a relationship problem. Okay, Pablo, that's easy, you know. Wait, Pablo, they don't want to go home because they have problems at home. So they rather stay at work and work to death. Okay. Okay, I see your point, Pablo. So most of us will say, the question was, what do you think carries greater workload? Who do you think is carrying the greater workload? And most of us, we're all going to agree that teacher A is carrying the greater workload. But here's this. Is teacher A being rewarded or exploited? Do you think teacher A is being rewarded or exploited? Exactly, Pablo, it's trouble. So Royal Tally says, they love self-praise. So true. And sometimes they want to be liked. But you can't kill yourself in order to be liked. You can't kill yourself in order to be liked. I'm running on the road. Hopefully I catch another segment. You will. We're not going anywhere tonight. We're going to take our time and go through this topic because it is something that needs to be discussed. Thank you for joining, Sanit. So we're going to agree that teacher A is being exploited, not rewarded, exploited. Exploited. So I'm going to ask you this question. And now, thank you, Sanit, for those 5 rows. Thank you very much. It's appreciated. Hear this now. When does dedication become being healthy and start becoming harmful? When does dedication stop being healthy and start becoming harmful? Someone answer me. When does dedication stop being healthy and start becoming harmful? Let me hear from you. I'm going to start. When they're piling too much things on your plate. You're being asked to overextend. They are requesting of you what they're not requesting of other colleagues. They pile on work that nobody else wants to do on you. They expect you to stay back late and complete the task while everybody else go home. A lot of expectation. Thank you, Zoral. A lot of expectation. Mandy says, when you stop seeing yourself and lose time with your family, etc. Alexander says, when there isn't an effective work-life balance and workload becomes unrealistic. You're all on point. You're all on point. When you live, you're living your life through your job. That's all you do. Work, 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 work. You don't know when to go home in the evenings. Holidays, you're there. Weekends, you're there. At nights, you're there. It is unhealthy. It is unhealthy. It is unhealthy. And that dedication is harmful to you. A negative change in personality. So true. So here's this. Here's something I've learned over the years. Here's something I've learned over the years. Many organizations unintentionally punish excellence. What did I say? Many organizations unintentionally punish excellence. Think about that. The reward for doing your job well becomes more work. The reward for being dependable becomes greater expectations. The reward for always saying yes becomes the assumption that you will always say yes. And eventually, people stop asking. They start expecting. And that changes everything. What did I say? What did I say? We have organizations who unintentionally, they don't really know that they're doing it, but they're punishing excellence. So let me repeat, the reward for doing your job well, what does that become? More work. The reward for being dependable becomes what? Greater expectations. People expect you to always be dependable. When they call on you, they expect you to always show up. The reward for always saying yes, that becomes the assumption that once they ask, you must say yes. Yeah. Pablo, teacher Ace set up themselves for type 2 diabetes. And eventually, people will stop asking you. They will just start expecting you to take on extra tasks. They'll start expecting you to cover for everybody. They'll start expecting you to do the job that nobody else wants to do. They'll start expecting of you that other team members are not doing. And that is when leadership unintentionally punish excellence. So I want every leader watching tonight to answer honestly. I want every leader watching tonight to answer honestly. Think about your own team. So Royalty says, with all that expectations, shows they don't care about your well. You know, so Royalty seems as if you're going to be the first one to get on tonight. What this So Royalty says, let me read it. with all that expectation shows they don't care about your well-being. You deserve an horn, so royalty. You deserve an horn for that. Pablo, you want the horn too? Let me give it to you. Yes. So I want every leader on the live tonight to answer this question honestly. Think about your own team. Who is carrying more than everyone else right now? Think about your own team. Who is carrying more than everyone else right now? And while you think of the team, remember you are a part of the team. Remember you are a part of the team. So ask yourself too, are you carrying more than everyone else right now? Alexander says it goes back to understanding effective leadership and being a reflective practitioner. So true, Alexander. And this fits right into what I just said. While you think about your team and who is carrying more than everyone else right now on your team, put yourself, you are a part of the team. As a leader, are you carrying more than everyone else? If you're doing that, it's unhealthy. It is an unhealthy practice. If you can identify someone on your team who is carrying more than everyone else, who has been asked to do what all other team members you can't ask them to do, and you're asking this one person, you are exploiting them, and it is unhealthy. If you're the leader and you're taking on everything, you're carrying more load than everybody else, you're not delegating, it is unhealthy too. So who is carrying more than everyone else right now in your organization? Do they know? Do they know that they're carrying more weight? They're asked to do more than everyone else on the team? Alexander says, yes, there's another twist that you're trying to avoid burnout of your team by taking on additional and burn out yourself, Alexander. And burn out yourself. Burn out yourself, not realizing that you die today, you end up in the hospital today, you get a stroke today, and tomorrow your job is being advertised. Tonight, someone is acting in your post and is already putting plans in place to apply for your job. Exactly, shortly, they will replace you. And I have learned that. I remember when I was a teacher, and I was a literacy lead for my school. And we used to have this literacy night every year at the school. And because I was a leader and I wanted everything to go right. And I took on more than I could manage. And I planned the literacy day. And the night before the event, I took sick and had to spend the day at home on medication. Could not even join and be a part of the event. And I've learned from those experiences. You cannot want to take on everything. Raheem, welcome. You cannot want to take on everything. It will burn you. You will work yourself to pulp. So as a leader, the person on your team who's carrying more load than everyone else. Let me see what Shorty says. People need to stop overworking themselves and stop carrying. Exactly. We need to know our limit. We need to know when to say no. Because work will kill you, but you can't kill work. Work will kill you, but you cannot kill work. Even when you're dead and gone, work will always be there. So work will kill you, but you cannot kill work. Thank you very much, Raheem, for that, Rose. Thank you very much. Work will kill you, but you cannot kill work. Work was there before our parents thought of us. Work was there before their parents thought of them. And work will be there long after we're gone. So work will kill you. You don't try to kill work. Work will kill you. And the work must go on. The work must go on and will go on with or without you. So let me go back to this now. So the person on your team who is carrying more work than everyone else, do you notice? Is this person aware? Or have you simply become accustomed to their reliability? You see, sometimes the strongest person in the room is the person closest to breaking. What did I say? Sometimes the strongest person on your team, the one who you give everything, the one who will never say no to you. And because you know that person will never say no, you manipulate them. And you pile work on work on work until it starts to become an expectation. And you don't know that that person is close to their breaking point. That's what you missed. Our topic for tonight. Are we rewarding loyalty or simply exploiting it? You're late, but you reach. So we need to be careful. So if you're able to identify that person on your team who is carrying more than everyone else, or if you as a leader is carrying more than everyone else, it's unhealthy. It is unhealthy. And we should stop expecting people to say yes all the time. And because they always say yes, we use that as an expectation. It's not an expectation that they're going to say yes. And you pile work. They do something well, and the reward for that is another work. And they do that well, it's another work. We need to be careful. We need to be careful. We need to be careful. And that is when, as organizations, as leaders, we are unintentionally punishing excellence. We are unintentionally punishing excellence, because the excellent worker, the excellent employee, the excellent team member is carrying more than everyone else on the team, and it is unhealthy. It is unhealthy. It is unhealthy. The leader is not always the one that exactly. I think we exploit it to some extent, and yes, it is exploited. And sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we really don't know that we are exploiting it, and we are exploiting people. Sometimes we don't know, and that's why I use the word unintentionally. Sometimes we don't. We have that loyal employee who, you know, if you give them the work, they're going to get it done. It happens to me sometimes. You have those people on your team who, you know, if you give them the work, they're going to get it done. But it's wrong. Not because we do it, and we don't mean any harm by it. It's wrong. It's wrong. And then you have some team members, they especially, oh, exactly, you work them to pulp. You work them to pulp, and it's wrong. We do it unintentional, but it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. The team should be carrying the same weight. Alexander says, I'm of the opinion that leaders don't make time to understand ways of acknowledging high performers. I agree. Alexander Starr. I agree. They think the reward for work, hard work, is more work. And they don't know that they're punishing excellence instead of rewarding it. Terry says, I've done it because the person may be more reliable than others. I've done it too. I've done it many times. Dav, amen. Mandy, amen. Shaw, amen. I've done it. But it's wrong. 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 Not because we do it, it's wrong. It's wrong. Dav says, I'm tired. It's wrong. We do it, we all do it, but it's wrong. It's wrong. So it's good that we're having this conversation, because there is no perfect leader. There will never be a perfect leader. And through reflection, we realize that some of our decisions is actually wrong. And instead of rewarding people for their excellence, we're unintentionally exploiting them. We are unintentionally exploiting them without even knowing. And that's a fact. It's wrong, but human nature of relying on person who will get the job. Exactly. We rely on them. But guess what? If that person is carrying the excess load because you know they're reliable, as a leader, ensure that their support, the support you provide to them, is top tier. What did I say? Ensure the support you provide to them is top tier. Pablo said, gotta go deal with you know. When you notice what is wrong, at what point do you start addressing it for a change? Exactly. And as a leader, when you see that it's too much, you'll know. And you should know when to pull back. You should know when to pull back. You must know when to pull back. And when enough is enough. But Pablo over here from night, throwing some serious stones. Pablo mean business tonight. So I'm going to introduce a scenario that I believe will divide this audience. Yes. I'm going to introduce a scenario that will divide us. Hear it now. Because it asks one uncomfortable question. Can a great leader unintentionally exploit good people while genuinely believing they're supporting them? Let me ask the question again. Can a great leader unintentionally exploit good people while genuinely believe they're supporting them? Pablo says Pharaoh mentality them call on no. Pablo, yes. You can genuinely exploit people and you genuinely believe that you're supporting them, but you are exploiting them. And that's the honest truth. Genuine, great leaders can unintentionally exploit good people while genuinely thinking they're supporting them. So we need to be careful. We need to be careful. We need to be careful. And that is why, make sure you have your copy of this book. Alexander, you get your copies yet? Make sure you get your copy of this book. Pablo, you get your copies yet? Because this book will change completely how you think. The way you think about loyalty, leadership, and organizational culture. Because here's what. Loyal employees rarely burn out because they don't care. What did I say? Loyal employees rarely burn out because they don't care. They burn out because they cared for too long without someone caring for them. Let me read some of the comments. Me fast and pray for Uno. Pablo. It is not unintentional either. It is not intentional either. Pablo, Alexander says, it's not intentional either. But you are pushing the team, that one individual, to achieve the goals. Exactly. And it should be the team instead of that one person. It should be the team instead of one person. Thursday, may I go buy mine. Exactly. Make sure you buy it. So here's a lesson. I have not gotten the book because my burnout not going along with Alexander. What do you say? Let me give you that one deserve a horn tonight. Alexander says, I have not gotten the book because my burnout. I'm not going a long time to read it. But you know what, Alexander? Get the e-version. Get the e-version. And while you lay down, you just click play and it will read to you. You can get the e-version as well from Amazon. If the physical copy, if you won't have time for the physical copy, you have the e-version on Amazon and allow it to read to you, to read it chapter by chapter, page by page to you. But ensure you get the book. It's at Wellies. It's on sale at Wellies. You can get it on Amazon as well. Now, here's a message I want to leave with you tonight. May I go buy one for my manager? Yes, you need to buy two. So go to Wellies and get it. Go to Raquel at Wellies and get it. Now, here's this now. Loyal employees rarely burn out because they don't care. Loyal employees rarely burn out because they don't care. They burn out because they cared for too long without someone caring for them. What did I say? Loyal employees rarely burn out because they don't care. They burn out because they cared for too long without someone caring for them. Mandy says they care too much. So profound, exactly. Here's this part now. The most dangerous words a leader can say. The most dangerous words a leader can say. How many of you have ever heard a leader say something like this? I knew I could count on you. How many of you have ever heard a leader say this to you? I knew I could count on you. You never let me down. All the time. At first, man, this is emotional manipulation. At first, that sounds like a compliment. Yes, man, it sounds like a compliment. And you may even feel good in the moment. And sometimes it is a compliment. Sometimes it is a genuine compliment. Or I know you're very, very reliable, very good. Very reliable, or I know you're very, very good. Yes, let's say that. Sometimes it's a compliment. And it makes you feel good. But if you're always the person people can count on, if you are always the person people can count on, who can you count on? Think about that. If you are always the person people can count on, who can you count on? The dependable people often become the invisible people. What did I say? The dependable people often become the invisible people because everyone assumes they're fine. Everyone assumes you're fine. Because you are dependable, nobody cares to ask you how you're doing. Are you okay? Are you coping? Everyone assumes you're fine. Renee's Little World, thank you for joining. You're late, but you reach. And that's good. You're late, but you reach. That's good. Pablo says, when me at this new staff, that would have worked, but no, me a season. You're a seasoned veteran. Okay, Pablo. So the dependable people often becomes the invisible people because everyone assumes they're fine. Here's this part now. Here's this part. The strongest people are often asked to carry the heaviest loads because they've proven they can. What did I say? The strongest people in the organization is oftentimes asked to carry the heaviest loads because they've proven they can. But hear this. Capability should never become an excuse for exploitation. Make sure you're tapping the screen while you listen. Like the screen. We want to get to 60,000 tonight. We're just at 33K. We want to get to 60,000. So while you listen, tap the screen. Dav says, where's the lie? What did I say? What did I say? Pablo says, not only the strongest, bro, when you're a man into a female-dominated workplace. So true. They'll exploit you. They'll exploit you. So the strongest people are often asked to carry the heaviest loads because they've proven they can. But keep in mind, capability, what did I say? Capability should never become an excuse for exploitation. If you've just joined the live, welcome to Leadership Unscripted. Tonight's topic is about trust. And we're in the middle of explaining and discussing. Is our trust being exploited or rewarded? in our workspaces, because we are the trusted employee. We are the trusted team member. Are we being exploited or rewarded? That is the discussion we're having tonight on Leadership Unscripted. So if you're just joining, like the live, share it with a friend. Ask that friend to share it with their friend. You are tuning to Leadership Unscripted. And as I said, capability should never, ever become an excuse for exploitation. And I see Dav says, where is the lie? Where is the lie? A good leader will ask, can they do it? A great leader also asks, should they be the one doing it again? What did I say? If you're a leader and you are a reflective practitioner, before you delegate, before you issue a task, ensure that is not that one loyal worker, that one loyal team member who will never say no, who is always dependable, you're giving all the work. Ask yourself, can they do it again? Should they be the one doing it again? Alexander Starr says, what support do you need to achieve or complete this task? Exactly, ask that question. Give them the support. Find someone else this time. Exactly. We're not about working people to pulp. And we're not about punishing excellence. Because when you reward hard work with more work, you're actually punishing excellence instead of rewarding it. And we are not about punishing excellence. And sometimes we unintentionally do it. But it's wrong. We're having the discussion tonight. It's wrong. Stop overworking your most loyal team members. Stop it. It's wrong. Now I'm going to put you back in a principal chair. So imagine you're a principal. Your school has just received an inspection report. There are 6 recommendations. Reading needs to be improved. Math needs improvement. Behavior needs improvement. Attendance needs improvement. Everything feels urgent. So as a leader, you call your staff together. There is one teacher who has consistently delivered excellent results. They've led successful projects before. They're respected, reliable, positive, and without really thinking about it, you say, I'd like you to lead the reading improvement strategy. They smile and say yes. A month later, you ask them to coordinate World Book Day. They say yes. 2 months later, another teacher goes on leave. You ask them to mentor the new teacher. They say yes. Then, the literacy coach resigns. You ask them to temporarily cover the role. Again, they say yes. Now, here's the question. When did leadership become exploitation? When did leadership become exploitation? When did leadership become exploitation? So let me go through that again. The inspection report comes out, and there are a lot of things that needs improvement. So you ask this one teacher, I'd like you to lead reading improvement for me. Your loyal employee smile and say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, I'll definitely do it. 1 month later, you ask that same person to coordinate the events for World Book Day. Again, they say yes. Keeping in mind, they're leading the reading improvement strategy. They're the one responsible for raising the attainment and improving reading in the school. But yet still a month later, you ask them to coordinate World Book Day. They're loyal, they say yes. 2 months later, World Book Day was a success. 2 months later, a teacher resigned and you employ a new teacher. You go back to this person and ask them to mentor the new teacher. Again, they say yes. Then suddenly, your literacy coach resigns. You go to this person and you temporarily ask them to cover the role again. Here's a question. When did leadership become exploitation? Because clearly, this person is being exploited. And as a leader, let me go back to the scenario. If this person, let me ask two questions. Why was the literacy coach not asked to lead the reading improvement strategy? If you have a literacy person at the school, a literacy coach at the school, why did you have to ask the teacher to lead to improve reading in the school? Why did that teacher had to lead that project? Why wasn't the literacy coach asked to do it? Exact Alexander Starr. And here's another question too. You're a wicked leader. You are a wicked leader. Here's another question too. Since the literacy coach resigned, why you're just asking this person who's already leading the reading improvement in the school, why not appoint this person in the literacy coach role? Why not reward them for their hard work? But no, you ask them to temporarily cover, because guess what? You're going to employ somebody else to come and do it and to come and take that role. You're a wicked. You are a pharaoh. So Royal Tally says, because they know he or she is a yes person. And it's wickedness. It's exploitation. Obviously, Alexander Starr, obviously the literacy coach isn't strong in reading because they only know exactly. They only know literacy. But if that person is able to lead reading, why not appoint them? Why are you going to say them? They're going to ask them to cover temporarily while you go and recruit someone else? You are exploiting your most loyal worker. And that is all. Is it that you don't think they deserved to get a raise in salary? Is it that you don't want this person to advance? Is it that you want to keep this person locked away in a box so you can work them to pulp? Is it that you're being selfish? And because this person is a really good teacher, instead of promoting them, which will result in them coming out of the classroom and becoming the literacy coach, you keep them in the classroom and pad these extra responsibilities on them because you don't want to lose your good teacher. That's selfish too. That is selfish too. You're thinking about yourself and not the person. And that person must run far from you as a leader. And I'm going to ask the question again. When did leadership become exploitation? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Remember, if you're on the live, thank you for joining Leadership Unscripted. Please share the live, invite a friend. But while you listen, please like the live. Our goal tonight is 60K. We're now at 37K. Our goal tonight is to get to 60K. Alexander Starr says, I would encourage that teacher to ask for a transfer immediately. Exactly. Because they're going to be worked to pulp. They're not good enough for the role, yet they're good enough to act in the role. They're good enough to cover the role, but not good enough for the role. It is exploitation. It is wrong. So when did leadership become exploitation? Was it the first request, the second request, the fourth, or did it become exploitation the moment leadership stopped checking whether they still had the capacity to say yes? Can't be padding work on people. You can't be padding work on people. You can't expect people to always say yes to you because you're the leader. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's not exposure. It's not exposure. It's not exposure. It's not preparation either. Some of us overwork people and saying, oh, we are preparing you to become a leader. You're wicked. You are wicked. Some of us say, oh, I'm mentoring you. You're my mentee. Exactly, Alexander Starr. It's not development either. No, it's not development. It's not development either. It's not, you're breaking the person. And if that's the way you lead, and that's your coaching mechanism, God forbid when that person become a leader, they're going to walk away with the same things you taught them, and they're going to go there into get a new role and work another innocent, loyal team member to Pulp 2, because they're going to think that's how it is supposed to be done. And that is how bad practices is transferred from one leadership role to the next, from one leader to the next. Because the leader who trained them, the leader who they emulate, exploit people's kindness. So when you become a leader too, you do the same thing. And it is wrong. It is wrong. So not because that person is always saying yes, you're going to be piling work onto their plate. As a leader, you must not exploit your most loyal and trusted employees. You can't exploit them. So as we said earlier, if that teacher was competent enough to lead reading while they were the literacy coach at the school, if that teacher was competent enough to coach staff, why are you asking them to just cover temporarily when the vacancy for a literacy coach becomes available? You're asking them to cover while you go and recruit outside. You are wicked. You are selfish. And we must stop exploit people. We must stop work people to pulp and under the notion that we are training them. We are preparing them. We're developing them to become leaders. All you're doing, you're causing burnout, and not only that, you're teaching that innocent individual that is the way to do it. So Riala said torture is torture. True. And that person walking away, get a leadership role, go into another institution, and think that is the way you train somebody. That is the way to develop an individual, by exploiting them. It is wrong. And as leaders, we need to stop it. We need to stop it. So one of the greatest myths in leadership is this: if they haven't complained, they must be okay. That's a big myth. If they haven't complained, they must be okay. No, they're just loyal to you and the cause. They're loyal to the organization. So even when they're buckling under pressure, they're not going to complain. So that's not true. Many loyal people don't complain. Not because they're coping, but because they don't want to let people down. Some people carry stress silently. Some carry exhaustion quietly. Some smile through it, while privately wondering how much longer can they continue. As leaders, silence should never automatically be interpreted as strength. Sometimes silence is exhaustion. Sometimes silence is disappointment. Sometimes when that team member is silent, is someone waiting for you to notice. Dr. P says, them want to kill us, the blood. Exactly. 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 So sometimes you see that team member and they're silent. Never take that silence. Never interpret that silence as strength. Because sometimes that silence means they're exhausted. It means they're disappointed in you. It means they're silent because they're waiting for you to notice that something is off. And instead of you noticing and having that conversation and find out, check in, do a wellness check on your employee, guess what you do? That's what you do. Because they don't complain, because they're silent, they're okay. So you add another task. You give them another responsibility. You give them something else to do. Ashley says, sometimes they can't have too much of a particular nationality on the team, so they use acting. So true. That silence can cause mental breakdown. And sometimes as leaders, that's what we are causing. We are causing some emotional stability to some of our staff without us even knowing. Without us even knowing. And it needs to stop. It's wrong. It's wrong. It is wrong. So here's a question. Have you ever said yes when deep down you wanted to say no? I have. Have you ever said yes when deep down you really wanted to say no? I have, many times. Almost all of us have said no, said yes sometime when really we wanted to say no. Now ask yourself, why? Why did you say yes? Sometimes you react too quick. I have, but had to say yes when I remember who holds the pen. Ashley, you come out swinging tonight, man. Let me give you a drum roll for that response. You said yes, Ashley, because... Where's my gadget? Oh, I thought I was going to get a drum roll tonight. What is it, Ashley? You said yes, because you remember... Yes, that deserves a drum roll, Ashley. You said yes, because you remember who holds the pen. Wrongy? Wrong, not sure, very wrong. Doc says one, Ashley, no. So true. Oh boy. You say yes. You really wanted to say yes. No. But you said yes. So Royal Tally says, I say yes because you're new. And you don't want them just to say you're lazy. Or you're not supportive. You don't want that. So you say yes to everything. When really and truly, you know you're at your wit's end. You know you're tired. You know you can't do it. You don't have the time. But you still say yes. When really and truly, you know you wanted to say. So sometimes you say yes because what? You didn't want to disappoint anyone. You felt guilty. You thought nobody else would do it. You didn't want to seem uncooperative. And that's exactly why leaders have a responsibility to protect the most dependable people on the team. What did I say? Leaders have a responsibility to protect the most dependable people on the team. Shorty says, and you don't want them to think you're late. Exactly. Mandy says, yes, some are quite manipulative and make you feel you're not a team player. So true. So true. But as leaders, it is our responsibility. It is your responsibility to protect the most dependable people on your team. Because leadership isn't about assigning work. It isn't just that. It cannot be just about assigning work. Leadership is about stewarding people. It's about what? Stewarding people. And that's another idea that is explored in the psychology of fragility. So one of the ideas that is explored through the psychology of fragility is that fragile organizations often depend on extraordinary people to compensate for weak systems. What did I say? Fragile organizations often depend on extraordinary people to compensate for weak systems. So instead of fixing systems, they simply keep asking the same loyal people to carry more. And it is wrong. It is wrong. Eventually, the system will survive, but people don't. That one employee, that one team member, that 2 or 3 team members, they get burnout, they get stressed out, high blood pressure lick them. They end up with stroke. They look aged. They burn out. And the system still remains there strong. The building still remains there. And you burn out people in the process. It is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong. So here's a teaching point tonight. Remember to like the live, share the live, like the live while you listen. Here is a teaching point tonight. Remember, our goal is 60K tonight. We're now at 44.8K. Let us get to 60K tonight. Now, here's a teaching point for you. I want to challenge every leader watching tonight. The next time someone says yes, don't simply thank them. Ask another question. What have you had to say? What have you had to say no to in order to say yes to this? What did I say? The next time someone on your team says yes, don't just accept it and give them the extra load. Ask this question. What have you had to say no to? What are you putting on the back burner in order to say yes to this request? And you're going to be surprised. You're going to be surprised at the response. And that question changes everything. Because every yes costs something. Sometimes it costs family time. Sometimes that yes is going to cost your loyal employee some family time. Sometimes it costs health. Sometimes it costs peace of mind. And leaders need to understand the hidden cost behind people's commitment. What did I say? As a leader, you need to understand the hidden cost behind people's commitment. Every yes comes with a cost. Sometimes it's your health, it's your peace of mind, it's your rest, it's family time. And as a leader, it is important that you understand the hidden cost behind people's commitment. Here's another scenario for you guys. Here's another scenario. A hospital, we're going to take it away from the school now, because it's not just about school. It's not just about education and leadership. Let us take it beyond education now. Here's this. A hospital manager has 2 nurses. One nurse never refuses overtime, always stays late, always helps. The second nurse politely declines extra shifts when she needs rest. 6 months later, the first nurse resigns. The second nurse is still there. Which nurse was actually taking better care of patients in the long term? Which nurse? Is it nurse A or nurse B? Which nurse was actually taking better care of patients in the long term? Is it nurse A who never refuses overtime, always stays late, always help? Or is it nurse B who politely declines overtime when she really needs rest? Thank you, Jay Salmon. Nurse B, thank you, Miss Bark. Nurse B, thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Ashley. Nurse B. So we're not saying don't take overtime, if you need the money, take it. But when you need rest, go home. Go home. Say no. Say no. Learn to listen to your body. I need to do more of that. Learn to listen to your body. If you're tired, you can't be as effective. Exactly, Ashley. You can't be as effective. And in the medicine profession, you can't be providing effective care because you're tired. You're tired, you're overworked. How can you care for patient? And sometimes the harsh reality is sometimes we put ourselves under stress because we want the money, so we stay back. We're tired, but we take on the extra shift. You're a teacher and you're tired. You have a difficult class, you're tired, but yet still every evening you're there for 3 hours doing after school. And you're tired. And when you finish after school and you reach home, you have some private tutoring doing on the weekend. And you're tired. Exactly, Ashley, and then they give you wrong meds. But as educators, you're tired, and every day you have after school. On weekends, you have a private tutor. When do you get to rest? When do you get to prepare? When do you get to rejuvenate? And you show up the next day tired. As you walk through the school gate, you're tired. Sometimes you're doing it to yourself too. Ashley says sometimes boss sending emails when you're resting. I get emails all midnight. Oh wow. Ashley? Oh wow, midnight. Midnight. Miss Barrack says my GM sent me a work message 3 a.m. I didn't go to work the next day. Barracks. Miss Barracks, that deserves a drum roll. Let me give you a drum roll for that, Miss Barracks. Let me give you a drum roll for that. You didn't go to work the next day. 3 a.m. That's crazy. That's crazy. Why do people do that? If you're up as a manager or the leader and you want to send an email, send the email to land in the person's inbox at 8 a.m. or 8:30 or 9, whenever they're at work, when they're on the job. Don't do that. Nowhere's burning down. Shorty, boss need boss need a lick. Boss need a lick. So we agree that the one who never rested did not provide good care to our patients. And this isn't just about health care. It isn't. So boss don't have no life at all. It's about sustainability. Great organizations don't simply reward sacrifice. They build cultures where people can contribute for years, not just months. You don't want to burn out your most loyal team members in a year or two. You want to build a culture that is supported, where the work is shared among the team. So you have people staying true to the cause for years. So I want you to complete the sentence. Great leaders notice what? They notice when a team member have had enough. They notice. They notice when the demeanor of someone on the team changes. They notice. They notice when that trusted employee have had enough. They notice. So as leaders, we need to notice when the members on our team or team members, when they've had enough. Because if not, you're going to mistake and you're going to be exploiting. You will be exploiting your employees. So I think one of the greatest leadership skills is noticing what people never tells you. What did I say? Miss Bark says a manager tried to pass his work on you. Even that, wickedness, selfish. So I think one of the greatest leadership skills is noticing what people sometimes never tell you. That tired smile. You need to notice. The reduced enthusiasm. You need to notice. When they stop volunteering, please notice. The quiet employee who used to contribute, but they don't do it anymore. Those aren't performance issues. Those are often well-being issues. And great leaders need to notice. Employee just get quiet. They stop volunteer. Their demeanor changes. Exactly, so royal. Their demeanor changes. Those aren't performance issues. It's well-being. And a well-being check is needed. That well-being conversation is needed. Genuinely check on that individual. Ask the question that need to be asked. Because one conversation may change everything, and you will realize the struggle that that individual is going through. And stop, when people stop volunteering and stop contributing, you're ready to get rid of them. As she says, indicator 6.3. Staff well-being. So here's this. In the final part of tonight's conversation, I'm going to place every one of you in the principal's chair. You will face one leadership decision. Remember, there's no perfect answer. Because sometimes we need to keep in mind that context matters. Official Barak says, the lack of acknowledgement and reward for employees' efforts is another. Don't talk about that. Don't talk about that. They work you to pulp for the entire year. And at the end of the year, they give you a plate of food. They never tell you thank you. They give you a plate of food. And it's not no top class food, you know. It's not no steak. And tenderloin. It's none of that. None of that. Chicken. And you may get fish. They work you for the entire year. And they have one staff function to say thanks. An iceberg lettuce, exactly, Nikki. But what about the well-being check that you're supposed to be doing throughout the year? What about the support you should be putting in place? What about the resources that you allow that staff to struggle with for the entire year? You couldn't find money to purchase the resources, but to find money to have a spread for people to eat food. So you stress me out for the entire year. I have to work without the resources. Sometimes I have to use my own money to buy the resources. But at the end of the year, you're taking me on a boat ride. Or you have an entire staff room with food. You think one meal can take away all the stress and anxiety you've caused? It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. Support, well-being check should be ongoing. It should be an ongoing practice where you check in, support your staff. Let me tell you something. And those who are from my institution, they'll tell you, I rather provide the resources and support for the staff throughout the year. And then at the end of the year, there's nothing in the budget to buy a gift. I rather do that because I'm making your job easier. I rather do that. Get you all the resources you need. Offer support the best way I can. Be there. Than have a big get together at the end of the year. I rather give you ongoing support throughout to make your job easier. Do things to make your job easier than have a big shebang at the end of a term or the end of a year. Foolishness. One meal will not take me off high blood pressure. One meal will not undo my depression. One massage will not undo my depression. One spa gift voucher will not undo all the stress you've caused me for the past 9 months. The leaders of an organization with no coordination poses a lot. Exactly. So as I said, I'm going to place everyone in the principal's chair tonight. You'll face one leadership decision, and there's no perfect answer. Someone will be disappointed no matter what you choose. We'll also end with a family table and one truth that you hope you'll carry with you long after this life ends. So here's it now. Before we move on, I want you to remember this one sentence. The greatest danger isn't losing your most loyal employee. What did I say? The greatest danger isn't losing your most loyal employee. The greatest danger is never noticing they were struggling until they've decided to leave. What did I say? The greatest danger isn't losing your most loyal employee. That's not the greatest danger. The greatest danger is never noticing that they were struggling until after they've already decided to leave. And that's the lesson I hope every leader carries into the final part of tonight's conversation. So tonight you are the leader. And there isn't any perfect answer, as I said before. Someone is going to be disappointed based on your decision. But guess what? That's leadership. So imagine you are leading a school. One teacher stands out. Let's call her Mrs. James. For 12 years, she has been the person everyone relies on. For 12 years, Mrs. James has been the person everyone relies on. Need someone to organize sports day? Mrs. James. Need someone to mentor new staff? Mrs. James. Need someone to coordinate reading week? Mrs. James. Need someone to cover class during lunch break? Mrs. James. Need someone to stay after school? Mrs. James. And the parents love her. Children adore her. Staff trust her. She has never complained, never refused. She never called in sick. One afternoon, she knocks on your office door. She closes the door behind her, takes a deep breath, then quietly says, "Principal, I'm tired." Not angry and not emotional. She just says, "I'm tired, just tired." Then she says something that completely catches you off guard. "I really don't think you notice me anymore. Until I stopped saying yes." If you're the principal, what's the first thing you would say? Don't think about policy. Don't think about workload. Think about Mrs. James. Think about the person in front of you. What is the first thing you would say? Let me hear you talk in the live. Let me hear you talk in the chat. What's the first thing you would say? If you're the leader. Alexander Starr says, I will be speechless for a minute. I would be too. Maybe even more than a minute. What do you say? What the first thing you would say? What can I do to help? How can I make it better? Thank you, Dav. Ashley, I totally understand. You have gone above and beyond, which would result in you being tired. But Ashley, what about the part where she says, I don't think anyone would notice me until I stop saying yes. Jay Summers apologized for taking her for granted. So how do you treat the part that says, when she said, she doesn't think anyone would notice her until she starts saying yes, until she stops saying yes? It would be a cause for reflection. Apologize that she's feeling that she's not being noticed. Yes. You would have to reassure her that her efforts are not going unnoticed. That she's actually seen. As a leader, you need to check stock. You're doing something wrong. You need to reflect. If you are such a teacher for 12 years, covering all those areas, and that teacher felt like you don't notice them, she reached her, so Royal says she reached her breaking point. Her cup is full, exactly. You would need to sit with that staff and reassure that staff that they're actually being noticed. But would you apologize? And do you think apologizing would be enough? Do you think apologizing would be enough? Or does leadership now requires action? Would you apologize? And if you apologize, do you think apology is enough? Or some action is needed on the part of the leader? It's a start, exactly. Apology is not enough, Saman. It's a start. But the action, no. It's a start, but action should, exactly. As she says, leadership requires action. Dav says it's a start, but action should follow. Jay Summers says action is definitely needed. Yes. Yes. Now here, I would, but it's not enough. Taking action and following through is what will be important. Exactly. Following through. That part is powerful, Alexander. Following through. We need to know it's okay to say no. And I keep repeating that throughout the night, Ashley. Knowing when to say no. Here's a twist. Here's a twist to that same scenario. Here's a twist. Mrs. James continues to say, I love this school. I love the children. I even love my colleagues. I'm not leaving because I don't love the work. I'm leaving because I no longer know who I am outside of work. What do you think actually caused Miss James to resign, to now resort to not only saying she feels as if she's not noticed, that nobody's noticing her, but no, she's actually resigning? What do you think caused that resignation? And who should be blamed? Who should be blamed in this situation? Who should be blamed in this situation? Who should be blamed in this situation? And that's why, you see, that's why in organizations or in systems where the HR department isn't attached directly to the organization, When employees resign, an actual exit interview should be required. If HR really care about building institutions, if HR really care about institutional and organizational excellence, when long-standing employees resign, or they ask for transfer, there needs to be a face-to-face. Because sometimes people are running from leaders and the culture that is being created. And because some of us leaders know that when we pressure an employee and they resign, they just leave and they're replaced. So we are never held to accountable. Our leadership practices are never called into account. And it is wrong. It is wrong. Ms. Bark says she lost herself in the process because she gave her all to the school. Alexander Starr says, HR doing exit interviews. What will happen with the information? Exactly too, Alexander. Exactly too. We need to hear why employees are leaving. We need to hear. If it's for better opportunities, fine. If it's for advancement, fine. If they're moving somewhere, it's fine. But if it is because of culture and toxic culture, that's not something that should be ignored. That's definitely not something that should be ignored. That leader should be held accountable. Because the culture that is at the school, the culture in the business, the culture in the organization is a reflection of the leader. So that leader needs a come to Jesus moment. Definitely. And Alexander Starr says, are leaders truly open to feedback and constructive criticism? And when you have more than one people in the organization complaining about the same thing, it needs to stop being ignored. Once it is not because the leader is holding people accountable. Once it is not that. Once it is genuine concerns, should never be ignored. Once the culture comes into question, should never be ignored. Should never be ignored. Should never. No, so here's my perspective. Here's my perspective. I don't believe organizations intentionally exploit loyal people. They don't. I don't believe organizations intentionally exploit loyal people. So if you're on the live, thank you for joining Leadership Unscripted. Our topic for tonight is about loyalty. Are we rewarding loyalty or are we exploiting it? That is the root of our conversation tonight. So if you're on this platform, share the live, invite a friend, ask a friend to invite a friend. And if you have not followed this platform, please click that plus button to follow this platform. We're on here every night. So let me get back to the show. So I don't believe organizations intentionally exploit loyal people. What I believe is that many organizations become so accustomed to loyalty that they stop noticing sacrifice. What did I say? Many organizations become so accustomed to people being loyal that they stop noticing the sacrifice people make to remain loyal. They stop noticing the sacrifices behind those yes. Sometimes the sacrifice is your family, your health, your well-being, time to yourself, your mental health. Some organizations stop noticing the sacrifice people make in order to remain loyal. Nikki says your finances, so true. And some organizations ignore it. They stop noticing it. So the danger isn't bad leadership. Sometimes The danger is unconscious leadership. What did I say? The danger isn't bad leadership. The danger is unconscious leadership. Leaders who care deeply but become so busy managing. What did I say? Leaders who care deeply but become so busy managing. They stop noticing people, and that is why leadership requires awareness, not just authority. Leadership requires awareness, not just authority. So here's a reflection tonight. I want every leader watching tonight to think about this. Who's your Mrs. James? Who is your Mrs. James? Who is the person in your workplace who quietly keeps everything together? Have you thanked them recently? Have you asked them how they're doing? Have you asked them what support they need? Or have you simply assumed they'll keep carrying the load? Remember, great leaders don't wait for resignation letters before asking those questions. Nikki says, unconscious leader, busy managing and forgetting the people they lead and those who serve. So who is the Mrs. James on your team? Who is the Mrs. James on your team? Who is the person in your workplace who quietly keeps everything together? Have you thanked them recently? Have you asked them how they're doing? Have you asked what support they need? Those are questions that you need to reflect on. So one of my favorite parts of the evening, because I don't want tonight's conversation to end when the live ends. Tonight's question is simple. Who is someone that has quietly carried more than most people realized? It could be your mother, a teacher, a colleague, a friend, a spouse, a nurse, a principal. Who is that person? Who is that person who has quietly carried more than most people realize? Who is that person? Ask them this question. Do you ever feel taken for granted? And just simply listen. Just listen. As she says, my husband, such sweetheart. So actually you need to ask your husband, do you ever feel taken for granted? And just listen. Because sometimes the greatest gift we can give another person is not advice, it's our attention. What did I say? The greatest gift we can give another person is not advice, it's our attention. So here's our leadership challenge. Here's your challenge before we meet again. I don't want you to compliment your strongest employee. No, don't do that. I want you to care for them. So choose one person, the one who always says yes. The one everyone depends on. The one who rarely asks for help. Walk into their office. Walk into their class. Meet them in the parking lot. Invite them to your office. Or call them and ask only one question. How are you? Really, how are you? Then don't interrupt. Don't try to fix anything. Don't defend. When you ask them how they're doing, don't try to defend anything. Don't interrupt them. Don't try to fix anything. Just listen. Just listen. Because you may discover something you never knew. One genuine conversation could prevent a resignation. It could prevent a mental breakdown. One conversation could also change someone's life. Here's my final teaching. I've learned something over the years. That people don't usually remember how many reports you completed. Actually, Lord, sir, you fixed me tonight. Have to appreciate the hobby some more. I don't want him to resign. You better not. So I've learned something over the years. People don't usually remember how many reports you completed. They don't remember how many meetings you've chaired. They don't remember how many policies you wrote. But they will always remember how you made them feel. They'll remember whether they felt seen, whether they felt valued, whether they felt safe, whether they felt appreciated. Because leadership is not measured by how much work gets done. Leadership is measured by how many people become because you lead them. Leadership is measured by how many people become better because you lead them. So before we close, I want to leave you one final thought. Everything we've discussed here tonight is why I wrote this book, The Psychology of Fragility. Because organizations don't become fragile overnight. Relationships don't become fragile overnight. People don't become fragile overnight. Fragility begins with small cracks that nobody notices. Until one day, everything breaks. Until one day you reach your breaking point. You can't hold it anymore. So if tonight's conversation challenged your thinking, I invite you to continue reading this book if you have a copy. And if you don't have a copy, please get it on Amazon. And if you're in the Cayman Islands, you can reach out to me, or you can get the copies from Welly's. Everybody know Welly's cool spot, Welly's restaurant. You can get a copy there. Wonderful read. So my hope is not simply that you read the book. My hope is that it changes the way you start thinking. So as we bring tonight's discussion and conversation to a close, I want to thank every one of you for spending your evening with me. Leadership isn't simply about getting the best out of people. Remember that. It's about bringing out the best in people. And sometimes the greatest act of leadership is simply noticing the people everyone else stopped noticing. So before we meet again, remember this. Loyalty should never become a license to overload someone. Loyalty should never become a license to overload someone. Dependability should never become a reason to take someone for granted. Let me go again. Loyalty should never become a license to overload someone. Not because the employee is loyal, you're going to overload them. No. Loyalty should never be a license to overload someone. And when someone is dependable, that should never become a reason to take them for granted. And the people who always carry everyone else need someone willing to carry them from time to time. What did I say? The people who is always willing to carry everyone else need someone who is willing to carry them from time to time. It's like who counts as the counselor? Who counts as the counselor? So if tonight's conversation encouraged you, I wanted to share it with someone. And guess what? Every night, as I said, the conversation is downloaded and is uploaded to my YouTube channel. Last night I let it be known, the aim is for me to go live on both TikTok and YouTube. However, to go live on YouTube, we need 50 subscribers, minimum 50 subscribers. So if you're on here tonight and you have not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, I'm asking if you could kindly subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is Dr. Ardale. Want to type that on YouTube, just go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you very much. So until next time, keep leading with purpose. Keep serving with integrity. Keep noticing people, because people will forget all you accomplished, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And here's my final thought. My final thought. Sometimes the most loyal employee isn't looking for a promotion. They're simply hoping someone finally notices they're carrying too much. What did I say? Sometimes the most loyal employee isn't looking for a promotion. They're simply hoping someone finally notices they're carrying too much. Let that sentence sit. Tomorrow night's topic. The topic for tomorrow night. Please ensure you come back tomorrow night at 8:30. The topic for tomorrow night is going to be a cracker. Here's this one. The most dangerous leader isn't the angry one, it's the insecure one. Our topic for tomorrow night. Tomorrow night at 8:30, we're on from 8. Our topic for tomorrow night. The most dangerous leader isn't the angry one, it's the insecure one. A leader who is insecure is the most dangerous leader. That is our topic for tomorrow night on Leadership Unscripted.
Give me peace in the middle of the storm when I cannot see the sky. Yeshua, hold my restless heart when fear is knocking at my door.
And I must say thank you. Our goal tonight was 60,000, was 60K likes, and we're now at 74.4K likes. We are now at 74.4K likes. We surpassed the 60K goal tonight.
Not asking for a life without the rain. Just give me peace inside the storm. When the thunder speaks louder, I will listen for your voice. When the darkness surrounds me, I will still have a choice to answer.
So I'm going to leave you with this song. And I want you to listen. It says, peace in the middle of the storm. It's a really motivational song. Just listen to the words.
Peace in the middle of the storm. The wind came without warning, and the sky was turning gray.
So if you're on here, just listen and like the live in the process. We're now at 75K. Wonder if we can get it to 80K before we leave tonight. Exactly, Nikki.
There were questions without answers.
Looking forward to another exciting and thought-provoking conversation tomorrow. It will be.
There were nights I could not sleep.
We're going to be talking about the insecure leader. and how dangerous that leader can be.
I was standing in the shallow, but the water felt so deep.
As Nikki says, please follow this platform.
Then I remembered
Invite a friend to come tomorrow night.
when I thought I would not rise. Still the sun came through my window. Still the birds filled up the sky. So I whispered through the thunder with the little faith I had. Yeshua, stay here beside me when the road ahead looks bad.
Thank you for staying short. It's appreciated.
Can't stop the rain from falling. I cannot tell the wind to cease, but I can turn my heart toward you.
What this song is saying, you see? Sometimes you're going through a lot. You cannot stop what is happening around you. That's what it's saying. You cannot stop what is happening around you, but what you can do, this is what you can do.
Something deeper than relief. Give me peace in the middle of the storm.
That's what we want.
Waves are rising high.
Wait. That's what we want.
Give me
Peace in the middle of the storm when the waves are riding high. When we're going through all we're going through, all the turmoil, ask God to give you peace to handle it.
peace in the middle of the storm when I cannot see the sky. Yeshua, hold my restless heart when fear is knocking at my door. I'm not asking for a life without the rain. Just give me peace inside the storm. I have learned that being faithful doesn't mean I never fear. Sometimes courage is just choosing to keep walking while it's near. Sometimes hope is just a whisper. Sometimes prayer is just a sigh. Sometimes all that I can offer is to lift my tired eyes. Give me patience with the process. Give me wisdom for today. Give me kindness when I'm hurting, so my pain won't lead the way. Let me become a peaceful shelter for another weary soul. Let the mercy you have shown me become mercy that I show. I cannot stop the rain from falling. I cannot tell the wind to cease,
Thank you to everyone who's liking the live. It's appreciated.
but I can turn my heart toward you.
The book is on Amazon.
Search for something deeper than relief.
Or as well as
Give me peace in the middle of the storm when the waves are rising high. Give me peace in the middle of the storm when I cannot see the sky. Yeshua, hold my restless heart when fear is knocking at my door.
Almost at 80K for real.
Speaking softly to my soul. Oh, let the echo fade away. One faith, one love, one breath for today. He's in the middle of the storm. Rain will fall, winds will
We're
blow.
almost at 80K. You all went out hard tonight. You went out hard
In
tonight.
the middle of the storm, when my strength is running low. Yeah. Give me peace in the middle of.
Hear this one. The title of this song, Seeds in the Silence. Roots grow deep before they show.
Oh, now.
Just some motivation for you. Just some encouragement. Just some motivation for you tonight.
Seeds in the silence. Oh, na, na. I planted something in the ground, then came back every day, looking for a little green to tell me it was on its way. But nothing broke the surface, nothing changed before my eyes, and I almost called it empty while a miracle grew inside. Maybe some things need the darkness, maybe roots must learn the deep. Maybe what looks still and quiet is not always fast asleep. So Yeshua, when I see nothing and impatience fills my mind, teach me not to dig up every seed just because it needs some time. There are seeds in the silence.
If everyone on the live go over to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel, we would get to 50 tonight. If everyone on the live now go over to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel, we would get to 50. Thank you very much in advance.
When where I cannot see, roots are reaching through the darkness while I'm looking.
And while I want to go live on YouTube as well, we have a lot of older persons who would like to join the live, but they're not on TikTok. So we want to give them another platform where they too can be a part of the nightly conversation.
Learning to believe there are seeds in the silence. I don't have
79.9K. Whoa.
I can water them with kindness. I can wait without complaining. Yeshua, teach my restless spirit. There is wisdom in the story.
I didn't see 80K coming. I didn't know it was possible tonight. I said 60K. And I'm seeing 80K on my screen. That one deserves an applause. I see 80K. That big. This, Nikki says, think big. This is massive.
We celebrate the open flower.
80K.
But
Whoa.
forget the buried seed. We admire somebody's journey without knowing what they need. So I will honor quiet seasons. I will stop demanding signs. I will give my dreams some breathing room and give my heart some time. I will not compare my garden with the fields across the road. Every life has different weather. Every soul a different soil. There are seeds in the silence, growing where I cannot see. Roots are reaching through the darkness while I'm learning to believe. There are seeds in the silence. I don't have to force the rain. I can water them with kindness. I can wait without complaining. Yeshua, teach my still growing, still holding, still unfolding. No claws beneath the soil, no spotlight on the roots. Still they do their hidden work.
All right, good
Still
night,
they
everyone.
carry future fruits.
That is it for Leadership Unscripted tonight. It was a pleasure having you guys here, and thank you for allowing us to reach another milestone tonight. Is now 80.3k likes. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night. See you tomorrow night. Same time, same place. Thank you, and sleep tight.